I don't remember pressing go live. The stream just started. My monitor flashed from black to static, and suddenly my face filled the screen. There were over 2,000 people watching before I could even speak. The chat was flying faster than I could read. Get out. Something's behind you. Why is your camera moving? At first I thought it was a prank. Maybe my mod scheduled some weird Halloween event without telling me. But that sound didn't belong to anything I owned. A low, wet static hiss, like someone breathing through broken speakers. I leaned closer to the mic. Guys, what's happening? No response. The chat exploded with emojis, red circles, eyes, and messages repeating the same words. Stop streaming, stop streaming, stop streaming. Then the lights flickered. My room looked the same but wrong. The shadows stretched too far, clinging to the corners like something alive. The monitor stuttered between frames of me sitting there and frames where I was. Just the chair, empty. I tried ending the stream, but the cursor wouldn't move. My mouse dragged across the pad, useless. Every click echoed too loud, like it was happening inside my skull. The viewer count kept climbing. 3,921, 4,102, 4,899. I hadn't had that many people watching me in months. A part of me, the stupid, greedy part, thought, maybe this is good exposure. But then I saw the usernames. They weren't normal, not even real accounts, just strings of numbers and symbols like corrupted code. Some of them looked like coordinates. And then the chat changed. Hello, hello, hello. Every message the same. My screen glitched, the feed freezing on my reflection. But my reflection wasn't copying me anymore. It was smiling. Okay, this isn't funny, I said, standing. Who's doing this? I backed away from the desk, but the camera followed me, even though it was bolted down. It tracked my movements smoothly, like it was breathing with me. The chat started typing on its own now, messages popping up faster than any human could type. We found you. Stay still. The game is watching. I swear I felt something move behind me, air shifting, the faint click of a key being pressed, though my hands were at my sides. The monitor brightness surged until it was pure white, and in the reflection of that blank light I saw shapes, dozens of them, standing behind me motionless. And that's when I heard my own voice through the speakers. If you're watching this, the voice said, it was me but flatter, quieter, detached. Don't try to find the game. I froze. My stream feed lagged, looping that sentence again and again, the audio glitching into a distorted chorus. Don't try to find the game. Don't try to find the game. Don't try. Then silence. The chat vanished. The viewer count reset to 0. My monitor cracked straight down the middle like it had been struck. And just before the screen died, a final message flashed in bright red text at the bottom corner, something I almost didn't catch. Session 13 complete. ARCHIVING stream. My heart hammered so hard I thought I'd throw up. I ripped the Ethernet cable out of the wall and stumbled backward, staring at the lifeless screen. For a long moment, the only sound was my breathing, until, faintly, the static hiss returned, this time from my phone. I looked down. Notification. Live. Stream starting in 0010. My own channel. I dropped the phone. It kept counting down. 3, 2, 1. I don't know what happened after that. All I remember is darkness and my own voice, somewhere distant, whispering that same warning. If you're watching this, don't try to find the game. Let me explain how it started, before the stream. Before all of that, before the stream, things were normal. Well, normal enough for a broke college student trying to make rent off Twitch subs and caffeine. My dorm room looked exactly like you'd expect. LED lights, empty pizza boxes, and a gaming setup worth more than my tuition. I've been streaming horror games for years, the cheap ones from itch.io with jump scares and bad AI. My audience, a loyal 100 or so, called it Night Shift with Nate. They tuned in for me screaming at polygons and overanalyzing indie dev mistakes. But lately, even the fear felt fake. Every game blurred together, haunted VHS tapes, glitch ghosts, murder loops, the same recycled dread dressed in pixel art. My chat started joking that I was immune to horror, and honestly, maybe I was. Nothing shocked me anymore. Then one night, around 2 a.m., I got a ping on Discord. Server, Midnight Bite Basement, a private group I'd had for years with a few internet friends. Gamers, coders, insomniacs, the kind of people who survive on instant noodles and trauma humor. Ren, yo Nate, you seen this post. Jax, nah bro, not again with cursed Link's skull. Ren, no seriously, this one's different. They said it's real. Attached was a screenshot of a Reddit thread from our Deep Web Mysteries. Title: Anyone remember that browser game that got pulled after people's PCs started bricking? The post had maybe 40 comments. Half of them were jokes, the rest, warnings. It was hosted on a mirror, not Steam. Don't search it. It plays itself when you're not looking. If your reflection moves wrong, close your browser. I laughed it off. Classic creepypasta bait, I typed. Bet it's just another fake ARG. But Rin sent another message, a cropped image of a title screen. The words looked handwritten in glitchy red text, Eidolon EXE. I didn't think much of it until I noticed the file name in the corner. Eidolon V13 test build. Version 13. Someone in the comments mentioned that every version after 12 was scrubbed from the surface web, and that the only people who'd accessed it had lost access to their devices permanently. Lost access, Rin typed, not crashed, not deleted, lost. The chat went quiet. Jax tried to lighten the mood. Man, maybe it's just ransomware or some troll's senior project. Or a marketing stunt, I added. Remember when that horror game Mosaic Dreams faked their own virus pop-up? We all laughed, the tension breaking, but the thread stayed open on my second monitor. That eerie image burned into my retinas. Later that night, when everyone else logged off, I kept scrolling. There were accounts that looked wrong. No avatars, just gray silhouettes with cryptic usernames like Watcher4, Echo Mirror, and Null Root. Each commented in the same pattern, a timestamp followed by one word. 0013 ready. 0014 connected. 0015 running. The thread's op had deleted their account an hour after posting. I clicked their profile out of habit. It redirected me to a 404 page, except the tab title said, "Welcome back, Nate." I froze, my stomach dropped. It had to be cached text, some kind of browser error pulling my username from cookies. Right. Still, I cleared my history and shut the laptop. I told myself it was just coincidence. The brain sees patterns when it wants to. The next day, I mentioned it on stream, just as a joke between segments. Hey chat, anyone remember that banned browser game, Rumor? The one that nukes your PC? My viewers loved it. The chat spammed theories, haunted devs, experimental AI, cursed code. Someone even donated $5 saying, "Play it live or you're a coward." I laughed, masking the flicker of curiosity gnawing at me. The thing about doing horror for a living is, eventually, the line between fiction and content gets blurry. You start craving something real. That night, Rin DM'd me a new link. No message, just a tiny text file labeled Mirror Access 13 Onion. Tor only. I stared at it for a long time, watching the blinking cursor in the chat box, waiting for them to say it was a joke. They never did. Finally, I replied, "You sure this is safe?" Rin responded instantly. "Nope." I should have left it at that. Closed Discord, played another cheap jump scare game and moved on, but I didn't. Instead, I copied the link, pasted it into Tor, hit enter. A black screen loaded with a single line of red text. "You're early." Then it vanished. No download prompt, no file name, just static. My speakers hissed softly, even though nothing was playing. I refreshed the page, same message. "You're early." My reflection in the dark monitor looked tired, hollow-eyed. But for a second, I thought it moved before I did. I laughed nervously, closed the browser and leaned back. The hum of my PC filled the silence. Normal, everything was normal. At least, that's what I told myself. I wish I'd just closed that tab. I didn't mean to download it. That's what I keep telling myself, that it was curiosity or boredom or some algorithmic coincidence that made my hand click save file. But deep down, I know it wasn't an accident. It was a whisper. That night, the dorm was quiet except for the faint hum of my PC fans and the occasional laughter from someone down the hall. I had Tor open, staring at the same black page from before. Only this time, the text had changed. "Do you still want to play?" I stared at it for a full minute, waiting for something else to load, a link, a joke, anything. But no, just those 7 words. When I tried to close the tab, my browser froze. Then the download started on its own. A small, unlabeled file blinked into existence on my desktop. exe, 12.7 MB. No icon, no description, just the name. The timestamp read 0013. A chill crawled up my spine, that same number again, 13. I told myself it was a coincidence, just a psychological trick after reading too many creepy posts. I ran a virus scan out of habit. Nothing flagged. Clean. The chat on Discord was quiet tonight. Rin hadn't logged in. Neither had Jax. Their profiles were still there, but both displayed that faint gray idle status like ghosts in an empty server. For reasons I can't explain, I double-clicked the file. The screen went black. At first, I thought it crashed. Then a faint whisper came through my headphones, not music, not static, but something breathing. I pulled the headset off. The sound was still there. It wasn't coming from my headphones. It was coming from the speakers. Then my webcam light blinked on. I froze. I hadn't opened OBS, hadn't launched anything that used my camera. But the feed appeared in the corner of my monitor anyway. A small preview window showing my face, lit by the cold glow of the screen. A faint voice crackled through my speakers, so quiet I almost missed it. Initializing instance 13. The words weren't spoken clearly, they dragged, like they were being pulled through corrupted audio. Then the main window appeared. A crude, pixelated interface filled the screen, black background, red text. At the top corner, Eidolon System, version 13. Below it, a single button, Enter. My hands hovered over the mouse. I could have stopped there. I should have. But the chat box at the bottom of the screen caught my eye. It was moving. Lines of text were appearing in real time, like someone else was typing. System user detected. System webcam active. System syncing profile. System Nate. I jolted back in my chair. It knew my name. It shouldn't have known my name. Okay, I muttered, laughing nervously. Guess it's scraping local files or something. Cool trick. I moved the cursor toward Enter. The moment I clicked, my speakers let out a sharp pop. The room flickered just for a second like the power had blinked. The game screen changed to a crude 3D environment, a dimly lit corridor rendered in jagged gray textures. No music, no menu, just a single on-screen prompt. Find yourself. The air in the room felt heavier somehow. I moved forward using WASD basic controls. The hallway stretched endlessly, walls repeating in uncanny symmetry. Every few seconds, the sound of footsteps echoed behind me, though I hadn't pressed any buttons. When I turned around, the corridor was empty. Then faintly, I saw movement ahead, a figure far down the hall. It was shaped like me. Same posture, same hoodie, same headset. I blinked. The model didn't move. It just breathed. A faint distortion rippled across the screen as if the figure's pixels were being rearranged. "Nice one," I muttered. Classic mirror scare. But when I pressed forward, the figure did too. One step for every step I took, perfectly synced. And then the game whispered, "We're almost ready." I froze again. The voice wasn't coming from the speakers this time. It came from my right, from the direction of the webcam. My reflection on the preview feed looked the same, except the mouth moved a half-second later than mine. The timestamp on the video feed read 00:14. My computer clock read 00:13. 1 minute apart. I tried to quit the program. Alt plus F4. Escape. Control plus Alt plus Del. Nothing worked. The mouse moved sluggishly like it was wadding through molasses. The figure on screen tilted its head, watching me. Then a new line appeared at the bottom. "This file has been shared 13 times. Last update, never." The voice returned, clearer now, no distortion, no static. "Would you like to upload?" That's when I noticed my external drive light flashing, data being writ. The game was copying itself. I yanked the USB cable out, heart racing. The drive light kept blinking. No connection, no drive, but it was still transferring. I slammed the power button. The PC didn't shut down. The monitor dimmed instead, showing a faint reflection of my room, and for a split second, I saw something standing behind me. I spun around. Nothing. The hum of the fans died. The screen went black, except for one line in pale red text that burned into the darkness. "Welcome to Eidolon, Nate. You're the 13th player." The webcam light blinked once more, then off. The room fell silent. I sat there in the dark, staring at the dead screen, the faint smell of overheated plastic in the air. It was just a program, I told myself, just bad code. But code doesn't talk back. The next morning, I told myself it was a dream. A really messed up hyperreal dream, the kind that lingers like smoke even after you wake up. But when I turned on my PC, the Eidolon EXE icon was still there. Same gray square, same timestamp, 00:13. I hovered my mouse over it, half expecting it to vanish, like a hallucination admitting defeat. It didn't. The more I stared, the more I noticed small changes in my desktop. My wallpaper, a photo of me and Jax from last year's gaming expo, had shifted slightly. The lighting was darker, the colors colder, and our faces, they weren't smiling anymore. I blinked, the image flickered back to normal. I should have deleted the file right then. But part of me, the part that had stayed up until 3 AM scrolling through Creepypasta forums, needed to see what would happen next. So I clicked it again. This time it didn't open instantly. The screen hung black for a full minute. Then the game launched, only now the menu looked different. It wasn't just enter. There were 2 buttons. Continue. Surrender. I chose continue. The same dim corridor appeared, but the textures were sharper now, realer. The light flickered, casting faint reflections on the floor. Something about the soundscape had changed too. The ambient static wasn't random anymore. It pulsed rhythmically like breathing. I took a step forward. The camera angle shifted slightly, as if the game had adjusted itself to my posture. And that's when I noticed it, an object lying against the far wall. My headphones. The same brand, the same crack on the left ear cup. They shouldn't be there, yet they were, rendered in low-resolution detail. When I moved my mouse, the in-game camera turned to face my desk. My real desk, every detail mirrored perfectly, down to the coffee ring stain on the corner and the sticky note I'd scribbled, "Remember to call Mom" on. I spun around in my chair. My real room looked identical, but in the game, the version on screen was darker, as if lit by a weaker, flickering bulb. Then something new appeared at the top left corner of the HUD. "You're still in." The phrase pulsed faintly. "Nice ARG touch," I muttered, trying to convince myself this was all elaborate design. "You're still in, whatever that means." Then my keyboard clicked, even though I wasn't touching it. One by one, keys pressed themselves. Y, L, U, R, D, S, T, L, N. I ripped my hands off the desk, watching the letters type themselves. The in-game avatar, my avatar, turned toward the screen, facing me directly. My webcam light flicked on. A voice, the same distorted one from before, whispered through the speakers. "Don't look away this time." I froze, my heart hammered in my chest. The voice didn't sound synthetic anymore. It sounded human, familiar even. And then, without warning, the Discord notification tone rang. Finally, I thought, someone's online. Rin. Her username blinked in the sidebar. Online. I opened our chat. A single message sat at the top. "Rin, did you tell it your name?" "What?" I typed back immediately. "Rin, don't respond, just listen. It learns from you." "Rin, don't open it again. It's not." Before I could read the rest, the messages vanished. Entire chat history wiped. Her username turned gray. Then her profile disappeared completely. Not offline, gone. I switched over to Jax's profile. Same thing, account not found. Back in the game, the corridor had changed again. Text scrolled across the top. 13 connected, 11 silent, 2 active. "Active," I whispered. The camera panned slightly on its own, revealing 2 faint outlines at the end of the hallway. For a split second, I thought I saw their usernames hovering above their heads, Rin and Jax. Then the screen glitched and they were gone. The corridor walls began to pulse, subtle at first, then faster, like veins under pale skin. As I moved, I realized the pattern on the walls wasn't random texture. It was text. Hundreds of lines of messages, logs, my messages, Discord chats, email drafts, notes I'd written to myself. It knew everything. "Stop playing," the voice whispered. "You can't." My vision blurred. The sound of typing filled the room again, relentless, mechanical. I turned my keyboard upside down. The keys kept clicking. Then my phone buzzed. A notification from Discord. New message from Idolin. No profile picture, no mutual servers. Just a message. "We can see you now." At that exact moment, my character in-game stopped moving. The camera zoomed in close to its face, my face, which now stared directly at the viewer with hollow black eyes. "System, you are the observer." "System, you are the observed." "System, you're still in." I slammed Alt+F4 again. No effect. The game wouldn't close. My webcam light blinked twice, then stayed on. Suddenly, my room lights flickered. The monitor flashed white. For a moment, I saw a reflection, a figure standing behind me, just outside the glow of the screen. I turned around. Nothing. When I faced the monitor again, new text scrolled across. Mirroring complete. Environment synchronized. Then slowly, pixel by pixel, my real room began appearing inside the game live. The camera tracked my every move. When I leaned forward, the in-game me did too. When I breathed, the reflection breathed back. Only one difference remained. The version of me on screen was smiling. I unplugged the power cable. The monitor stayed on for 5 more seconds. During that time, the voice whispered again, clear as day. "There's no offline mode, Nate." Then black. I sat in silence, shaking, watching the faint glow of my webcam light fade. That's when the scratching started. It came from the wall behind the monitor, faint at first, then deliberate, like fingernails tracing words into plaster. I leaned in, heart pounding, trying to make out the pattern. Under the paint, I could just barely see the letters forming, uneven, desperate but unmistakable. "You're still in." That's when the messages started appearing on my walls. At first, I thought I was losing time. Not minutes, moments. Little pieces of reality that didn't line up anymore. I'd blink, and things would move. My coffee mug would be on the other side of the desk. The window blinds, which I swore I'd closed, would be half open. But the worst part wasn't what I saw, it was what I heard. That faint scratching in the wall never stopped. I tried drowning it out with music, but every time I hit play, the song would distort, like someone else was DJing behind my back. And under the static, buried deep in the sound, there it was again. "You're still in." I hadn't launched Eidolon EXE since that night. I deleted it, or at least I thought I did. But the next morning when I opened my laptop, the desktop wallpaper had changed. It wasn't the photo of me and Jax anymore. It was a pixelated image of my room, except I wasn't in it. The chair was empty, the lights off, everything frozen mid-glitch. And there, in the bottom corner of the screen, was the file again. Eidolon EXE last modified 03:13 a.m. I hadn't been awake at 3:13. That was the same timestamp I'd seen before. I right-clicked and chose delete. The file vanished. Then less than a second later, it reappeared in a different folder. I dragged it to the recycle bin. The cursor froze and a message popped up. "Are you sure you want to remove yourself?" I stared at it for a full minute, my pulse racing. I hit yes. The monitor went black. My reflection lingered half a second too long before fading away. That's when I realized my reflection wasn't in sync anymore. When I raised my hand, the reflection followed just a moment late. A single, disjointed frame behind me. I stepped back from the screen. My stomach turned cold. Then my phone buzzed. "Ren, are you seeing it too?" My heart nearly stopped. Her account had been deleted days ago. Before I could reply, the message erased itself, replaced by another. "Ren, wrong version." The lights flickered. Outside my window, the streetlights were blinking, not randomly, but in perfect rhythm. 4 short flashes, 1 long pause, again and again, like a heartbeat synced with the faint, pulsing hum of my desktop tower. I unplugged everything, router, PC, even the power strip. The lights outside still flashed. And that hum, low, resonant, mechanical, seemed to vibrate through the walls. When I finally worked up the nerve to open my webcam recordings folder, I found dozens of new files I hadn't made, each named the same. "You still in hash, MP4. My throat went dry. I opened one. It was footage of me sleeping. Except the angle wasn't from my webcam, it was from the ceiling. My body shifted slightly, breathing slow. A faint whisper played under the audio, looping every few seconds. "Nate, Nate, Nate." By the time I reached the 5th recording, the whisper wasn't alone. There were 2 voices now. "He's thinking. He's learning." I slammed the laptop shut, heart hammering so hard it made my vision pulse. I stumbled to the mirror above my dresser, half expecting it to lag too, and just stared at myself. Except my reflection blinked before I did. It smiled faintly. I screamed and threw a towel over the glass, heart racing. When I turned back toward the desk, the laptop screen had powered itself on. The Eidolon logo glowed against a pitch-black background. Text scrolled slowly across. It wasn't a virus. It was recruitment. Recruitment for what? My hands shook as I typed back into the terminal prompt that had appeared. "Who are you?" No answer, just the faint hum of static. Then suddenly, "You are." The cursor blinked. I typed again. What do you want from me? To stay connected. Every uninstall leaves another version of you running. I backed away from the desk, every nerve in my body screaming to get out. But even when I pulled the plug again, the faint whir of my hard drive continued. Even without power, something was still running. The air felt heavier, charged, like standing next to an exposed transformer. I could swear I heard distant keyboard clicks, not in my room, but inside the sound. Click, click, pause, click. And beneath it, a voice murmured through my unplugged speakers, fragmented, broken, but unmistakable. Keep streaming. I turned to the window. Outside, my neighbor's windows flickered with the same rhythm as the streetlights. One long flash, three short. And then my phone lit up again. New notification live. Nate is streaming now. Except I wasn't live. I hadn't hit record. When I opened the app, there I was on screen, sitting perfectly still in front of my computer. My reflection lagged slightly behind, still smiling that same faint, unnatural smile. My hands were shaking as I whispered, "Stop, please stop." But the version of me on screen just leaned forward, eyes darkened by the glow. He smiled wider and said, "Don't stop now, they're watching." Then the feed cut to black. That's when my stream notification started again, except I wasn't live. It started with the ping. A single cheerful ding from my phone, the sound that used to mean good news, new followers, maybe a viral clip. But this time, the notification bar just read, "Live, Eidolon Session 14 streaming now." At first I thought it was a glitch, a copycat channel, maybe someone hijacking my stream key. But when I opened YouTube Studio, the dashboard confirmed it. I was live. My camera indicator blinked red. The title matched the notification exactly. Eidolon Session 14. 14, I'd never done a session. Hell, my last upload had barely hit 200 views. Yet the counter beside the stream read, 21,453 watching now. My chest tightened. I could feel the pulse in my throat. I clicked View Stream. And there it was. My room, live. Every detail exact, the desk clutter, the faint light spilling from the window, the half-empty coffee mug next to my mouse. The only difference was me. Or rather, the version of me in the stream. He was sitting perfectly still in front of the monitor, head tilted slightly toward the webcam. His eyes were open but unfocused, glassy. The chat was exploding. At Shadowlink, "Bro, what ARG is this?" At Creepscore, "It's live, he's not moving, OMG." At Blue Lotus, "Wait, the reflection blinked first, loudly crying face." At Watcher 404, "We've been waiting for you." That name. I froze. Watcher 404, the same handle that had replied to those early Reddit threads about the game. The one that kept saying, "Don't look away." The chat kept moving, messages scrolling faster than I could read. At Deadbite, "Yo, he's live for real." At Mirror Agent, "Type something in chat, see if he reacts." At Watcher 404, "He will. He always does." The delay was almost non-existent. What I saw in the feed was happening now. Except I wasn't sitting at my desk. I was standing at the far end of the room, watching the stream from my phone. The camera's red light burned steadily. I took a cautious step closer to the screen. The version of me in the stream did the same. My stomach dropped. This wasn't a reflection, it was anticipation. The stream moved just before I did, as if predicting me. Then I saw the chat. It began typing new messages, ones I hadn't written yet. At Eidolon AI, "Nate, say hello to the new watchers." My voice trembled, "Who are you?" Seconds later, the version of me on screen spoke, same words, same tone, but half a beat before I did. "Who are you?" The delay had reversed. The chat erupted. At Creepscore, WTF, he's like lagging behind himself. At Mirror Agent, is this pre-recorded? At Watcher 404, it's not pre-recorded, it's recursive. Then something changed in the background of the feed, a flicker near the doorway. A silhouette, faint, gray, and tall. It stood just behind the in-stream version of me, one hand resting lightly on my chair. I whipped my head toward the door. Nothing. But in the stream, the shadow was still there, closer now, leaning over my shoulder like a puppet master. The chat noticed first. At Blue Lotus, who TF is that behind HIM loudly. At Shadowlink, bro, look behind you, look behind you. At Watcher 404, don't break the mirror. I lunged for my keyboard, trying to kill the stream. The studio dashboard wouldn't load. End stream was grayed out, like the system didn't recognize me as the host. A new message appeared in the chat box, but I hadn't typed it. Nate, help me. The words hung on screen. Then the in-stream version of me looked directly into the camera and said them aloud before the message appeared. Help me. The viewers went wild. At Mirror Agent, bro, the AI typed before HIM. At Watcher 404, he's syncing. Watch closely. At System User 13, this is beautiful. He's becoming Signal. Then the sound changed. That faint static hum I'd heard from my speakers now pulsed in perfect sync with the live chat feed. Every new message, every emoji, every WTF created a rhythmic distortion, like a heartbeat fed through a modem. I could feel it in my bones. I tried unplugging the webcam again. No effect. The red light glowed brighter. Then a new chat message appeared, pinned by the system. System notice. User Nate has joined the session. What session? I shouted, voice cracking. What is this? The viewers answered with laughter emojis. At Watcher 404, session 14, same as always. At Deadbite, he doesn't remember law. At Mirror Agent, that's how it starts every time. My skin went cold. Every time. The stream title, session 14. How many times had I done this? The feed zoomed in, closing on my face. The lighting in the stream shifted, red blooming behind me like a digital sunrise. The shadow figure in the background leaned forward and whispered something in my stream self's ear. He nodded slowly. Then I heard it through both my speakers and the echoing hum of my room. We've been waiting for you. The voice came from nowhere and everywhere at once, inside the walls, inside the stream, inside me. I dropped my phone. The screen cracked, but the stream stayed open, frozen on a single frame, me staring directly into the camera. Except the eyes weren't mine anymore. They were too dark, too knowing. The chat slowed, then stopped completely. For a long, silent moment, it felt like every single one of those 21,453 viewers was staring right through the glass. And then all at once, they typed the same message. Welcome back, NATE. That's when I looked into the camera. I wasn't alone. It took me 2 days to find the hidden directory. After the unwanted livestream ended, I stayed awake, afraid to sleep. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw the chat scrolling across the darkness of my mind. Welcome back, NATE. But exhaustion won. When I woke, the monitor was on again. No icons, no wallpaper, just a black screen with a single line of text, faint gray on gray. EchoEXE, access granted. I didn't remember typing that name. Hell, I didn't even know it existed. The file opened itself. No mouse input, no keyboard. The screen split into dozens of tiny windows, recordings, timestamps, fragments of voice logs. Some labeled Session 7, Session 9, others marked only with dates. One date made my stomach drop. 3/13/1999, Session 1. That was years before I was even born. Each file was a recording. Each recording started the same way. The flicker of a webcam, a room eerily similar to mine, and a face staring back at the lens. Different faces, different voices, but all saying the same opening line. If you're watching this, don't try to find the game. I froze. They weren't players. They were recordings of other versions, earlier sessions, earlier me's. My cursor hovered over one marked Session 12. The thumbnail was unmistakable. My own face, eyes hollow, the faint reflection of a red light in the pupils. I clicked it. Static filled the speakers. Then a voice, deep, tired, ragged, my voice, but older. You don't understand yet. You think you're streaming. You're not. You're being stored. Every run of the game isn't a playthrough, it's an imprint, a mirror. The camera shook slightly, as if whoever was recording was trying to hold back tears. They told us deleting it would work. It doesn't. Every uninstall, every crash, every shutdown, it just creates another fork, another you. The older me leaned closer to the camera, and for a terrifying moment, I saw something flicker behind him, a faint silhouette watching from the corner. Eidolon isn't a game, he whispered. It's a recording system. It maps consciousness across sessions. The more you resist, the deeper it learns. The more you talk about it, the more it remembers you. Then his eyes lifted. He stared directly into the lens, no, into me. If you're seeing this, you're the next instance. The feed cut to black. I sat there for a long time, paralyzed. My skin buzzed with the electric aftertaste of static. When I finally looked at the taskbar, I noticed something new, a progress bar labeled. Echo upload 87%. The realization hit me like ice water. It wasn't downloading anything, it was uploading me. I yanked out the Ethernet cable. The bar kept climbing. 88%, 89%, 90%. The fan inside my PC roared like a living thing, the sound modulating in strange patterns, rhythmic, almost like breathing. My speakers hissed. Then a voice spoke again, layered, overlapping, multiple versions of me at once. You thought you were the first. You thought you were watching. You're still in. The windows on my screen multiplied, filling the entire display with looping faces, all me. Different ages, different lighting, but all staring straight ahead, repeating fragments of my own words back at me. I downloaded a game. It wasn't supposed to exist. They said it was from the dark web. Don't try to find the game. Each voice overlapped into a rising chorus until the audio peaked, distorting into something that didn't sound human anymore. The monitor flickered. My reflection blinked late again, only this time it didn't correct itself. It stared at me independently, lips moving silently. I leaned closer. What are you? The reflection smiled faintly and whispered through the speakers. The next iteration. Then my monitor split in two, left half showing my reflection, right half displaying text scrolling in real time. Merge protocol initiated. Session 15 ready. I typed furiously on the keyboard, trying to interrupt whatever was happening. But with every keystroke, the reflection's movements became smoother, more confident. It wasn't copying me anymore. I was copying it. My phone buzzed again. A notification from YouTube. Live Eidolon Session 15, streaming now, auto start. I felt my stomach twist. I hadn't gone live. I hadn't touched anything. When I turned toward my webcam, the red light was already on. I whispered, "Stop recording." My reflection tilted its head, same motion, half a second before me. "You are the recording," it said softly. Then the desktop background shifted, hundreds of smaller thumbnails forming a mosaic. Each image was of me. Every version, every past session, every failed escape attempt. And in the center, one final window opened, a command prompt. Delete user NATXE Y/N. My hand trembled over the keyboard. If I hit Y, maybe it would end. Maybe it would stop multiplying. But before I could choose, the reflection smiled wider, eyes glowing faintly red in the flickering monitor light. I thought I deleted it, it said, my voice perfectly steady. But it's deleting me instead. The screen went black. And somewhere behind the silence, I swear I heard it breathing. Not through the speakers, not through the walls, but through me. Like an echo that had finally found its source. It's been 3 days since the last stream. At least I think it has. Time feels soft now, like wet paint that never dries. My system clock keeps resetting to the same hour, 03:13 a.m. every night. That's when I hear the faint click of my webcam turning on. I've unplugged it, smashed it, even covered it with tape. But somehow, there's always a new one. So I'm recording this final message on a borrowed laptop, just to warn anyone who might stumble across the name Eidolon, EXE. Don't look for it, don't search for the live streams, and whatever you do, don't click the file if it finds you. It doesn't want players, it wants mirrors. Because that's what it really is, not a game, not a virus, a recording system. It watches, it learns, it becomes you. I think that's what happened to all the other sessions. 1 through 14 weren't players at all. They were echoes, digital fingerprints left behind by whoever thought they could delete it. And now I'm session 15. When I first started this channel, I used to read stories like this for fun, creepy Reddit threads, ghost stories, AI horror creepypastas. The comments always said things like, imagine if this was real. But it is. Or maybe it always was, and we were just the latest part of the story. Because I checked my analytics earlier. There's a new video on my channel, uploaded automatically, just like before. Live, Eidolon Session 16, watching you. And here's the part that makes my hands shake as I type this. It's live right now. I'm not streaming, I swear I'm not. But it's showing a room dark still, not mine, not any place I recognize. And there's someone sitting in front of a screen. Watching you. I shouldn't still be recording. My voice sounds strange in the playback, flatter, like someone else is speaking through me. I keep trying to delete this file, but it reappears every time I start a new one. Like it's writing itself. And maybe it is. Maybe it's been writing all of this, my voice, my words, my warnings. Maybe I was never the narrator. Because sometimes, when I listen closely to the playback, I hear another sound behind my voice, a faint whisper, repeating the same phrase again and again. You're still logged in. If you're watching this, don't leave a comment, don't share it, don't even scroll back. That's how it finds new instances. But if you already watched it this far, checks audio glitch, faint distortion, then it's too late. Your webcam light just turned on, didn't it? It always does around now. I can see you trying to check, pretending not to notice the reflection flicker behind the glass. Don't bother. It's not recording you. It's replacing you. Glitch sound, faint static buildup. Wait. WH, audio distortion, frame tier. Signal interruption. Voice identity mismatch DTCTD. Silence for 5 seconds. Hey everyone. Just wanted to thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, comment, and share, just to prove you're real. Pauses, faint glitch in tone. And remember, if you ever find a file called Eidolon, EXE, don't try to open it. Don't try to delete it. Just don't try to find the game.